Tales from the Flatlands and Deep Roots. Mike Bolin here, and welcome to the next edition of the Flatlanders Show. I'm back down in the silver shop again. Today, as I promised on the last episode, I missed that silver pour. The recorder wasn't working. So I came in the shop yesterday and I did another Delft clay casting of another arrowhead, a little bit bigger. And then I showed the pouring of it and how it came out. So you can actually see what it, and I got some pretty good footage. I'm pretty pleased with it, and I think y'all will enjoy it. And then, as I also mentioned on the last show, we're going to be making a bolo. And I'm going to use this arrowhead that I cast yesterday to make a bolo. It's going to be a really nice one. And we'll go through sort of step by step, and you can watch me do that the first part of this episode. And the bolo is going to be 2 episodes. One is I'm going to actually create the clasps on the bolo head, which is an arrowhead, and then I'll feed the cord. I'm using a larger than normal cord on it. I think it's going to look really good. In fact, I'm going to give it to Chicago John Joyner to wear when he's performing. I'm slowly in the silver shop. I'm moving away from Native American stuff more and more and trying to get into more into a different style. In the last week I went to Jake's Backdoor, and Jake's is a club here in Lubbock. It's off of 50th and Slide Road, and they feature live entertainment in one form or the other all week long just about. And Darren, Welch, and Walney played up there during the happy hour from 5:30 to 7:30. I went up and watched them, and I filmed one of their songs. They did probably 12 songs. And then I graduated high school with Darren, and I knew Mark. Mark graduated from Coronado, and me and Darren graduated from Monterey. So we had a little sit down and interviewed him. It's just a fun little segment, and I'm going to put it in at the end because, as I have said from the very beginning, one of the things we're going to do is feature the live entertainment around here in the arts. We haven't moved in that direction yet very much, but it's going to become more and more of a theme of the Flatlanders Show. So, with that being said, also remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment. As I've shown on other episodes, we're giving a coin bracelet away the first day of summer. The rules for it is just a random drawing, but to be eligible, you have to subscribe to the Flatlanders Show, and you have to leave at least one comment. Even this, though this looks like a photograph from the last episode when I was Delft clay pouring, and when I went to the actual pour, the camera kicked off. I promised you I'd come back and show you successfully what it looks like when you pour the molten silver into your Delft clay mold, and that's what we're going to do now. I've already prepared the mold. I prepared a different arrowhead, this one right here. It's a little bit bigger than the last one, and that's the one we're going to be casting today. Along with showing you the actual point of the silver, I wanted to show you a little bit more about my melting furnace as well. As you can see, right now we're at 1736, 38, 39, you can see it going up. I set mine at 2000. Now, do I pour that hot? No. I just watch it, and we're going to open it up here in a minute and you can look at it. We'll get it up to, when it gets up to 1761, which will take here just probably 10 or 15 more seconds. We'll look at it and you'll see it's not melted. It won't be melted. I have several pieces in there, and that's just, this is a fault of this furnace. It's the thermostat isn't all that correct. I've had several of them. I burn through these about once every 7 years. I buy the same brand, and it's they're not perfect. So this is more about knowing your product. I don't have my glove on here, but It's not super hot, that part of it isn't. And then we'll just pick it up and we'll look at it. And as you can see, there's still nothing is molten in there as of yet. And this time, unlike last time, when it is molten, I'll come back, and that's when we'll use this boric acid, and we'll use one of these graphite sticks. When this is put in there, when the silver melts, I'll put it in there and turn it a little bit, and some of the impurities will naturally stick to this graphite stick, and then I'll put them in here, and when the graphite stick's hot, the boric acid adheres to it. I'll come back in and I'll spin it into the melted silver, and you'll be able to see it gets it a lot cleaner. It really is. This is very, very, it's almost a must, because it's really going to clean up your silver. And so we'll let it sit. I'm gonna check it when it's about 1850, and we'll see if it is melted by then. And I'll come back to you. Okay, and this is gonna be pretty Western. I'm doing this for myself. I've got to get my other glove on and to turn the camera on. First, we'll just look at it, and you can see it's melted. So the first thing I do is come with my stick and I stir it. It's pretty clean. As you can see, it got a little up there. Then I'll stick it down in there, and I'll come back with this flux, and I'll flux it real. I'll flux it real good. Slowly those impurities will start. You can see them adhering to that. It's pretty pure. Looking pretty good. Okay. Get everything else ready and we'll do this pour. Okay, we're ready to pour. Everything is ready over here. I have to pick up the crucible and I'll bring it in here and then I'll pour it in. I'll center this a little bit better so y'all can see it really good. Okay. See, it's hot. Look at that. Don't burn the camera up. There we go, that'll do it. I think we did pretty good. I hesitated just a little at the first. Mistake on my part. But as you can see, it's hot and smoking, and turned off the furnace. Readjust this just a little bit. I'll let it sit for about 5 minutes and then we'll crack it open. But okay, I didn't give it very long, but I always get excited about seeing. You always wonder if you do this enough, you always miss one occasionally. So here we go. Here's the proof's in the pudding. Oh my goodness. Look at that. We got the whole thing just perfect. And you can tell, looking at it, this one didn't even come into that hole, or this one. But it didn't miss anything. Looks a little dented there, but that's in the piece. And so now we can take one glove off and I can just prise that up. The reason I like to pry it up quick is the quicker I get it out of that Delft clay, the less Delft clay it sears, that I don't have to pick out of and lose valuable Delft clay. Because I like at least like this, and I'll show you that, a little bit of that. I just get off the major, just a little layer, take a little bit under the fire, but I like to go ahead and get it off just as quick as I can. And I don't, nobody told me that. I just just makes sense, that if you've got hot clay on there, it's going to be drawing moisture out of this clay. And so that's the last thing I want, is to degrade this clay any more than I have to. So, yeah. And I'll wait now that I've got it out. And when it cools off at a later time, I'll clean it up and pick out the black. Right now, with this piece, I can, is that hot? I guess so. All the way through my big heavy leather gloves, it is hot. So there we go. There's one side of it. You can tell. Gonna have to do, like we did on the last one. But when it cools and I trim it, that's when we'll come back and look at it next. Like on the last one. The last one, of course, we put that hoop on there for a bracelet. This one, however, we're going to build a little different, and it's going to accommodate this thicker style bolo cord. Okay, we're back at it. In fact, actually, it's the next day. I shut it down a little bit early yesterday. I had some things I had to take care of. And I tried today. I'd gotten in front of here, and when I started out, my plan was to use the rope in creating this figure 8 that I use on the back of the piece. But instead, I tried it, and the rope and it was grabbing too tightly on this. No matter how much I loosened it up, I noticed when I ran it in and out of the mechanism a few times, it was wearing on this even after I'd sanded it. And I'd used the rope when I'm using the smaller cord, but on this bigger cord, I got the feeling that it wasn't going to work. So I went ahead, and I had a little technical difficulty because, of course, it didn't record again. So I'm going to show you what I did. And these are called wubbers, and you can buy them. They're not expensive. And what I do is I take them and I turn it in. I get my circle going like that. I get it right, and then let's see. I go back over. No, hold on. I turn them around, and I go back over this side like that. And essentially, what I end up with is an S. And what I've did, of course, I soldered it on already, and that's the part that I wanted to show you once again. You did get to see the full casting this time, but you didn't get to see the full soldering. Anyway, I trim this off, and when I trim it off, I solder it, and here's the piece, and I soldered one on it, and you can see how it's situated on there. It's soldered on there. I don't solder. I leave one. For me, I like to leave one loose on this bigger cordage because it's easier to adjust it, and it's easier to get it to fit tight too, because all this is give and take, as you put it on. But how this is going to go is it's going to be threaded right onto there. This is, of course, it's going to be a bigger piece, and you can move this stuff. It's got some flexibility, so and it's good that it fits tight. But like I say, my problem was I couldn't get enough on the rope. I couldn't get enough sanded off, and it was working okay. But I just know these kind of things, and it would have worn too tight. And with a heavy piece like this, and this heavier cordage, all the components are a little bit tighter, and I just felt like over time it would seriously damage the appearance of the rope. So essentially, that's it. I'm going to clean it up for this episode. I'm going to clean it up, cut the cordage, and then we're going to discuss how we're going to make these. And on the next episode, we'll make the tips for it, as well as I'm going to bring in, this is some Colombian or some British Columbia jade. I'm going to put either a centered piece with jade, or turquoise. And I'm gonna, right in the middle, I'm gonna drill it out. I'm gonna have a round insert of, I want to try this jade. I might go with turquoise. It just depends on what's looking best at that point. So I'll clean it up. I'll bring it back. I'll cut the cordage the proper length. We'll hook it all up, and we'll get ready for the next phase on the next show. Okay, I've cut the bolo. It's mounted on here. You can see, moves well, looks well on the back. You can see how it looks on the finish on the back. And that's basically how you build just the main parts of a bolo like this. And I think it's going to slide well. I think it's not going to overwear this. I'm glad I made the decision to back off from doing rope. And, you know, that's what I do in the silver shop. I learn every time I'm out here. I learn just a little something. On every project I made, I've made a bunch of bolos. And this is the first one I've ever really tried this on thicker rope. And I learned a lesson that this round wire does a really good job on it. And serves a purpose well. Now on the next show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be messing with these tips. And also, as you'll look, this bolo is very long right now, and I make longer bolos. I don't like the short ones, and I'm getting away more and more from Native American style. That's why on this piece, instead of putting a piece of turquoise, I'll probably go with the jade. Because what this bolo is going to be, it's going to be for Chicago John Joyner, and I want him to wear it at his shows. And I know he's going to wear, I know the kind of shirts he wears, and I know he's going to wear it down lower, not like a traditional person would wear a bolo. And that's why I'm going to make it longer. And I'm going to make it really decorative here at the end. There's a silversmith you ought to check out. His name is Eddie Borgo. He's a young guy, works up on the East Coast. A really high-functioning silversmith and a creative person if there's ever been one. And he does some really modern runway stuff. And slowly, I'd like to at least produce a line that's designed for high fashion. And I think this will be, you know, more and more you see a lot of turquoise pieces out there, and that's good. I'll always make a few turquoise pieces, but I'd really like to develop something, a sleek style, really featuring the silver, that's different. You know, a lot of people say, well, if you don't wear a bolo tight against your neck, you're not wearing a bolo right. But this one's not going to be worn that way. It's going to be worn more loosely, sort of like a tie. I don't know. It's one of Mike Boland's bolos. One of Mike Boland's bolos. I like the sound of that. And we're glad y'all tuned in to watch this construction of this bolo. We hope y'all tune in next time to watch the conclusion of it. Hopefully I can finish it in the next episode. It's a pretty aggressive piece, and with the stonework, it might take 2 episodes, but however long it's going to take, I'm going to see it through to the end. Now, like I promised at the beginning of this episode, we're going to go out to Jake's Backdoor, and we're going to have an interview with Mark Walney and Darren Welch. We're going to talk about their music, and then we have one cut of one of their songs they performed up there last Friday night. And it's an interesting interview, and it's a great song. And so let's have a listen. Mike Boland here with the Flatlanders Show. Today I'm out at Jake's Backdoor, listening to the happy hour tunes provided by Darren Welch and Mark Walney. Or Mark Walney and Darren Welch. How's that go, guys?
Either way.
Who's the boss?
We're both the boss.
There you go. I've known Darren since high school. Mark went to Coronado, so I didn't know him. He graduated about the time with my brother. I've seen y'all play all my life here. Seen Darren. I grew up with Darren. I watched him play.
We don't know any better.
Well, and I guess this is the sort of the question I want to ask Darren. I want to ask you too, Mark, because I know y'all have been really madly popular in this town most of your lives. Everybody knows who you are. I remember growing up in high school, Darren, everybody thought he was going to be the one to push through the envelope. And, you know, and in a way
What
I was really...
disappointment.
I'm not saying that. I just wonder, though, having both of y'all gotten so close, and I'll start with Darren, what's it like at this stage in your career? You're still playing all the time. What does it feel like that you never did hit that next level? Does that bother you?
Well, we talked about it earlier. The thing is, I've been to California. I've been all over. I could never see myself locating there. Plus, there were so many pretty women in Lubbock. And I was seeing all these people eat out of dumpsters over in California, and I was like, I could be one of those. I'm gonna go home and see my mom. And then I get married, have kids, and but still, even if you're in a place like that, you can spend 10, 20 years and nothing happened for you. It's like trying to be, NBA, NFL, pro
Exactly.
baseball player, about a 3% chance. So,
Well, now in this stage in your career, and Mark, I want to ask you the same question too. I mean, I know you've probably been close more than once. I mean,
I don't say I've ever been close. I've been like Darren. We've toured around the country, several bands, several years. I was very lucky.
we're lucky to get paid.
Yeah, very lucky to get paid. And very lucky to have the work we have, to be honest with you. We're very lucky we have anybody that comes to see us as often as they do. We're very grateful for those friendships, those people, and the opportunity to play all of our lives. We've always wanted to do it. Being big is a sacrifice. And I was listening to Stevie Nicks the other day. She
But
said,
we'd be glad to
yeah,
sacrifice.
well, truthfully, especially in today's market, already in Nashville, they're grooming 12 to 16-year-old kids for the next stardom. They all got lawyers, they all got A&R people, they all got arts development. And in truth, they're really past that. I think of Darren and I as what I call legacy artists. We've just been around a long time.
That means old.
Yeah. We've just been around this
Old.
market a long time. We've all been on the road. Darren and I, we've been toured. He was on one side of the country, I was on the other side. He was in Lubbock, I was in Chicago.
And we
he was
met
in
back
California.
in Lubbock.
Yeah.
when did y'all meet up and start playing on a regular basis?
God rest his soul, Mike Pritchard was getting sick, and Mark needed some help. He didn't really need any help. He just wanted somebody to help, to do his work for him. So,
Well,
I'm joking.
well, Pritchard and I,
We got together.
he and I were like peas and carrots. I've always found somebody that I've always enjoyed a relationship with because I played a lot of solo stuff all my life. And being a solo
And he's
artist
phenomenal
makes money, but it's
solo
not near as fun. And Mike and I did a happy hour at the Club Melt down in the Buddy Holly district for 5.5 years. And when that stopped and fell out, we got a call. I got a call from here. Said, Mark, we want you and Pritchard come in here. I said, well, Pritchard's busy. I said, but I know somebody that I'd like to have work with for a while.
And here we are.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about 15
Well,
years
yeah,
ago.
maybe 15 years
15,
ago.
16.
Yeah.
Because Melt, I was doing some shows at Melt because Mike was having heart problems. So I came in and our very first show, it clicked.
Well, how many shows now do y'all figure you play a year at this point in your career?
Together? How many have we done together?
Average on a year now. How
Oh,
many
in
do
a
you think
year?
How many times
Oh
you
my
think
gosh.
200,
Maybe.
150, 200.
Yeah. Easy.
And most of the stuff you play here in Lubbock now.
Yeah, I'd say 95% of it here.
We venture off into New Mexico a little bit,
We've
But
got
the
some steady
venues-
shows that we do up in Rio Doce.
and we do a lot of private parties and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. That's what keeps us going.
Well, in Lubbock, back way in the day when I used to play in the 80s, there weren't nearly as many venues now. Is Lubbock a pretty hospitable place now for people doing solo acts and duo acts like y'all?
You know, to be wrong with you,
If you're Walney, it is
that's
the
the
most beloved creature in the whole musical firmament.
Oh, that's so exaggerated. But what's fun to hear is that there's a lot of places that he and I can work at any time we want to.
And we could work solo the same way.
Yeah.
Well, I've
we're
heard y'all twice since I've been back in town, and your sound is incredible. I mean, what you do is really incredible, and the crowd really got into it, and it was really nice to see y'all play. And I want to thank you for this interview. I'm doing this podcast is going to feature musicians once a month. And I'd like
You
to
yourself are a great musician.
Well,
I want everybody to know that.
I'm gonna try to play up here next week. Same deal as you, but it's just
Mark
me
is
and
gonna come help you.
it's just me and my guitar, and I'm gonna try to pass a lot of originals, so it'll probably be
fine.
It'll be pretty quiet. It won't be nearly as
It'll be
rambunctious.
over at 7:30.
There you go.
Beautiful day, sun beat down at the river. I was driving, still by. Me and Dill were singing Little Runaway.
Wow, what a great time out at Jake's. Special thanks going out to Darren Welch and Mark Walney for participating in that interview. Hope you enjoyed the interview as well as the song I included. Also, we hope to see you back next week for the completion of that bolo, at least making progress on that bolo. And until next time, please like, subscribe, and comment to be eligible for the coin bracelet giveaway that we're going to have on the first day of summer. And so until next time, we hope you all have a great day and a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of the Flatlanders Show.
Be there to switch.